going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort. And China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money. For China, it's not just about developing its own ECNY. It's also about dominating the underlying CBDC technology in the same way they've done with 5G technology, so they can be a major exporter of CBDC infrastructure to countries around the world that desire to have their own central bank digital currency, but don't have the wherewithal to build the core technology from scratch. And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China. And so that, and for countries that may wish to avoid sanctions.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, I come back with that video just to make you think. And we have the New World Order setting this plan up perfectly, guys. It's us versus them. Bitcoin is going to free you. But those who've been in crypto from the beginning, we know the big banks, the big corporations that are running the legacy market, is running crypto behind the curtain. What does a crypto teacher teach you? That's right, follow the money. And I give you the truth, nothing but the truth. Yes, the truth hurts, but it sets you free. With the Ukraine and Russia situation, now they're talking about doing what? Bringing in regulation. But bringing in regulation along with restrictions. So the New World Order is knocking down 3 birds with 1 stone. They're bringing in regulation. They're bringing in adoption, and then they're moving over to this digital economy. And behind that is the robots, algorithms, and drones are coming in. And they're selling it on the back of freedom. And crypto means what? That's right, a hidden message, hidden meaning. We know what cryptos are for. We know what stable coins are for. To take away all your freedom and your privacy. They'll be able to tell you what, where, and how to buy it. And blockchain gives the New World Order to all seeing eye. They will be able to see every transaction that you make while they are on a private blockchain. And what are the banks? The biggest drug dealing, money laundering, gun running son of a guns. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you, because he knows. When it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Right. Bitcoin was about 34,000 just on Thursday. We almost hit 45,000 this morning. What's going on?
Yeah, hi, Charles. It's so great to see you. Well, what's going on here is the world is waking up to the fact that every form of money that exists right now, except Bitcoin, can and has been manipulated by political and centralized forces, especially during a crisis. And people are opting out. They're jumping ship from the traditional rails because I think they see cracks in the traditional system. They see that their money can be frozen, or they can be limited to how much they access, or how much it's even worth from one day to the next because of decisions that are completely out of their hands. So why is Bitcoin climbing? I think it's because we're watching 2 systems collide. The old financial system that's dependent on manipulation and coercion and obedience to central authorities that are engaging in war. And this new system is emerging from the decay that is based on freedom and individual rights and hope. And I think people want a form of money that can't be exploited or debased by the powers that be, Charles. And that money is Bitcoin, which has very defined rules, but no rulers.
You know, and so because when all these things, I was rooting for the SWIFT action. I thought the central bank action was phenomenal. And as I was shaking my pom-poms, I kind of thought, golly, what if they ever shut my account down? Well, over 22 million was sent via Bitcoin. And it seems like it's opening up a new chapter with respect to the value proposition story, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, what other way can you send aid to someone with no remittance fees, no delay, no counterparty risk, and frankly, no one over your shoulder asking what you're doing and why? But more importantly, I think that people are just trying to help, and they see Bitcoin as almost a form of speech to protest what's happening in Ukraine, because the truth is very few people want war. Okay, politicians can wage war because they're behind the money printer, but do the people of these countries want war? You know, the politicians are subject to none of the challenges that of the people that they govern. Right. And I don't think anyone wants war. They want economic freedom. They want the freedom to, have a chance to make their lives better for their families. And with each of these Bitcoin donations overseas to the refugees, I think that they have the chance to do that and to escape from the oppression of a government that's engaged in conflicts with one country or another country. People just want economic opportunity. And freedom. Here's the thing, though. The old guard, like these governments you're describing, for instance, Mark Mobius, dissing Bitcoin right now, saying that Russia is actually using it or trying to use it to circumvent all of these other issues, and saying that's actually a good reason to own gold. What do you say to someone like a Mark Mobius? Yeah, so I say that gold is still part of that old system that I mentioned that is fracturing. Much of it is centralized. It's not easy to travel across borders with it or protect it from seizure if you need to flee a country. But what about the argument that Bitcoin is nefarious, that it's being used for nefarious means? Well, certainly cash is being used for much more nefarious means. And I think, when you think of gold, certainly it's hard money. It can't be easily inflated, but Bitcoin is a better form of it, right? It's absolutely scarce. It's hard money for this digital world that we live in that can be transmitted to anyone on an open software network that can't be controlled, influenced, or seized by any political power. So gold is old, Charles. Natalie, let me ask you, because I got 30 seconds and they're kind of like asking me to get out of this thing. Early last year, a year ago, the big everyone said 100,000 easy by the end of the year. That didn't happen. What's holding it up now? When can we see 100,000? Okay, so I think what's holding it up is the larger macroeconomic picture. Our economy slowed down. Everyone's on edge for rate hikes. One wrong move and we can send us into a recession or a bust. And frankly, not enough people understand Bitcoin. So I think people are putting too much trust in a system that is $30 trillion in debt, dependent on the global reserve currency of the dollar, while other countries like Russia and China are building parallel systems, their own digital currencies to subvert SWIFT. And I think we have some choppy waters ahead until our political leaders wake up to Bitcoin and the competitive advantage that America would have with it, because we've fumbled our way into this position by allowing capital to drain overseas, right, weakening the dollar at the expense of the average American to the benefit of the powerful and the rich. And I think Bitcoin is the one thing that can help us with that. And when that happens, when people realize it, it'll get to 100K. I got to tell you, it looks like it's starting to happen right now. Just what's happened in the last 72 hours or so. Natalie.
Most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the fourth industrial revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.